The night sky over Zaporizhzhia trembled with distant explosions. Russian forces had poured soldiers and tons of explosives into the region, hoping to seize the nuclear plant that still resisted. In early September, a sleek Russian fighter, an Su-34, roared into the air, loaded with guided bombs. It completed a single bombing run, then vanished. How could a massive warplane be erased so quickly? The mystery lingered, sparking a fevered debate among analysts. At dawn, the Ukrainian Air Force issued a terse report. Around 4 a.m. on September 25, an Su-34 that attacked Zaporizhzhia was downed by guided aerial munitions. No details followed. The Ukrainians guarded the method like a secret weapon, hinting that the same trick could be repeated. Could they have lured the jet into a trap? What sudden flash of fire tore it from the sky? The answer hovered just out of reach, urging us deeper into the battle. By late September, Russian commanders renewed their push, trying to secure launch pads for more strike aircraft. Their goal: keep pressure on Zaporizhzhia while protecting rear positions. Yet the loss of that single Su-34 sent shockwaves through their ranks. Some experts suggest the Ukrainian pilots tracked the jet's predictable flight path, waiting for the moment it returned to base. Others whisper about a coordinated strike using an EFF-16 guided by an ISC-890 radar platform, spotting the jet from hundreds of kilometers away. Which technology sparked the sudden blaze? The battlefield still holds its breath, waiting for the next reveal. In a recent twist in the ongoing conflict, Ukraine scored a remarkable victory by taking down a Russian Su-34 fighter jet. This strike marked a significant moment in the battle for Zaporizhzhia, a city crucial to both sides. As Russian forces aim to dominate the area, Ukraine's success in neutralizing this threat brings both relief and renewed tension. But how exactly did Ukraine manage such a daring feat? Since the onset of the invasion, Zaporizhzhia has been pivotal, housing one of Ukraine's premier nuclear power plants. Russian forces first targeted this strategic city early on, capturing it in the initial assaults. Yet, the stakes have risen dramatically as Russia intensified its operations in late 2025. Just weeks ago, the commander-in-chief of Ukraine's armed forces, Oleksandr Syrsky, disclosed that Russia was gearing up for a major offensive targeting Zaporizhzhia. This formidable plan, which was anticipated to unfold from late August and into September, was halted by Ukraine's defenses, leaving Russia scrambling to recalibrate. Desperate for control, Russia aimed to secure rear positions while launching aerial assaults with its Su-34s from safe zones. These jets pose a relentless threat, capable of delivering guided bombs that devastate vital infrastructure. As reported by the Institute for the Study of War, the urgency in securing these locations has driven their strategy. But just when it seemed Russia was poised for another onslaught, Ukraine executed a stunning counterstrike. September 25 dawned with heightened tension. Reports indicate that Ukraine's Air Force intercepted the Su-34 mid-mission. The moment was strategically orchestrated and meticulously planned. While exact details of the ambush remain cloaked in secrecy by Ukraine, the implications are clear. By taking out this aircraft, Ukraine not only disrupted ongoing operations but also sent a resounding message to Russia regarding its capabilities and resolve. As speculations grow about how Ukraine achieved this extraordinary outcome, analysts suggest a potential reliance on strategic observation and rapid response tactics. By studying the jets' flight patterns and timing their attack, Ukrainian forces were able to exploit Russia's complacency. The stakes involved in this operation resonate through valleys of war, as every success galvanizes morale and brings new hope amidst despair. With the sky above Zaporizhzhia momentarily free from the threat of the Su-34, the question lingers: what will Russia's next move be? Will they adapt and redeploy their tactics, or will they continue to falter under Ukraine's relentless pressure? As the battle lines remain drawn, the pulse of conflict beats on, with each moment setting the stage for the next dramatic confrontation. As tensions escalated, the stakes in the battle for Zaporizhzhia rose dramatically. By September 22, Russia was keenly focused on securing strategic locations for its assault, positioning itself for a more powerful offensive. It wasn't making significant advances yet, but preparations were underway. A day later, reports indicated that Russia was gearing up for a massive strike on Zaporizhzhia, intensifying the threat to civilians in the region. In the days preceding Ukraine's decisive action against a Russian Su-34 fighter jet, Zaporizhzhia endured relentless bombardments from drones and aerial strikes. Homes, farms, and crucial infrastructure suffered devastating destruction. Tragically, one attack resulted in the loss of a local life, adding to a grim tally of civilian casualties. Firefighters battled fierce blazes that consumed more than 1,400 square feet of urban area, evidence of the onslaught's severity. Despite Ukraine's earlier successes in stalling Russian advances, the latter part of September heralded a resurgence of aerial bombardments, with the Su-34 heavily involved. On the early morning of September 25, as the jet completed yet another bombing run, Ukraine executed a counterstrike that would shock the world. The jets were not just fast, they typically zipped through the sky at an astonishing speed of about 869 miles per hour, making them a challenging target. However, a surprising turn of events unfolded that day. How did Ukraine manage to shoot down a Russian Su-34 under such conditions? Experts speculate that Russia's actions may have grown predictable, leading to what could only be described as a strategic blunder. As complacency crept into the Russian ranks, Ukrainian forces lay in wait, their eyes fixed on the skies, ready for the moment the jet returned to its habitual route. But the real question loomed dangerously: did Ukraine employ sophisticated weaponry for this daring operation or rely on sheer cunning and strategy? With lives hanging in the balance and the fate of a city at stake, Ukraine's actions set the stage for an explosive confrontation that would reverberate through the annals of military history. What shocking methods did they truly use to overturn the tides of war? The clock was ticking. In the early hours of September 2025, a significant event unfolded as Ukraine managed to shoot down a Russian Su-34 fighter jet while it was attempting to return to its base. This sparks intriguing theories about how Ukraine executed such a challenging feat. The Su-34 is known for its remarkable speed, regularly soaring at around 869 miles per hour and capable of reaching a blistering 1,180 miles per hour, or approximately 1.5 times the speed of sound. Such swift and agile aircraft seem nearly untouchable. Yet, an expert named Mikhailo Zyrikov believes there is more to the story. Russia's strategy with the Su-34 may have presented a critical vulnerability. Zyrikov notes that the jet likely followed predictable flight paths multiple times, creating an opportunity for an ambush. When there's no opposition, he explains, pilots tend to lower their guard. This lapse in vigilance could have made the Russian aircraft an easier target, particularly after it had been conducting repeated, successful bombing runs over Zaporizhzhia. As Russian forces launched aerial assaults with guided bombs since September 23, Ukraine faced the urgency to act. Had the Russian military grown complacent during its routine attacks, the stage was set for Ukraine to strike back. The key for the Ukrainian forces was to watch and learn. They analyzed the jet's approach, tracking its movements methodically until the Su-34 became predictable. Upon its next fateful return to familiar airspace, Ukraine was primed to respond. Zyrikov posits that Ukraine could have employed various weaponry for this ambush, considering options like a roaming Patriot missile system or F-16s armed with advanced missiles. However, positioning such assets effectively required coordination with an airborne early warning aircraft. The suspense mounts as the pieces come together. Was it a swift missile from a concealed position that sealed the fate of the Su-34, or a well-planned execution from the ground? Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the tactics that enabled Ukraine to outmaneuver and outsmart one of Russia's most formidable aircraft, while revealing an unexpected twist in this ongoing conflict. This pivotal moment not only breathes new life into Ukraine's resistance but also raises critical questions about the evolution of aerial warfare in this modern battleground. Earlier we heard that Ukraine could have struck the Russian bomber with a roaming Patriot or with missiles launched from F-16 fighters. What if a single radar blip changed the entire battle? The idea itself feels like a plot twist in a war drama, yet the stakes were real. the air thick with fuel and the distant thrum of engines echoing over the Dnipro. In the next scene the story sharpens. Ukraine reportedly received a Swedish aircraft late August. Could this silent bird have been the key? The plane, known as ASC-890, carries a Saab 340 airframe fitted with a PS-890 ARII radar. Its active phased array antenna buzzes like a hive, slicing through electronic noise. From 450 kilometers away, roughly 279 miles, it spots the sleek Su-34, its metal skin glinting in the early light. The radar feeds the location instantly to a waiting F-16 through the Link 16 network. A missile launches, the jet shudders, and the pilot never sees the ambush coming. Will this elegant chain of detection and strike become a new normal? The final act asks whether Ukraine really risked two precious assets to down one enemy fighter. For F-16 jets had already been lost by June 2025, and the new ASC-890 was a fresh prize. Losing it would have been a heavy blow. So the question lingers, was the September 25 strike the first of many coordinated hits, or did Ukraine mask a different, perhaps quieter, method? What hidden tactic could turn a single bomber into a symbol of resistance? The answer may reshape the conflict's next chapter. Since the onset of the invasion, Russia has relentlessly pursued control over Zaporizhzhia. This crucial region houses one of Ukraine's key nuclear power facilities, and despite being under Russian influence, it has fiercely resisted. Daily, more soldiers and munitions pour into this battleground, setting the stage for a dramatic showdown. Yet, in September, Russia grew bold, dispatching an Su-34 fighter jet to execute bombing runs. But just as it completed its mission, Ukraine's defenses struck back with stunning precision, obliterating the aircraft in a manner that leaves many questioning how they achieved such a feat on September 25. A significant event unfolded in Zaporizhzhia. Reports reveal that after launching a lethal aerial assault on Ukrainian cities, the Su-34 was shot down by Ukraine's defenses. Details remain sparse, but it seems Ukraine wanted to keep its tactical advantages close to the chest. Speculation surrounds the tactics employed, as this strike could signify a turning point against Russian air dominance. Yet, as Ukraine carved a path of resilience, the region remained a focal point of aggression from Russia, significantly due to its historical and strategic importance. Just weeks earlier, Ukraine's commander stated that Russian forces intended to intensify their offensive in Zaporizhzhia. That plan was thwarted temporarily, but Russian forces simply adjusted their strategy, focusing on securing their positions and launching renewed offensives. As September pushed forward, reports surfaced that Russia was ramping up its operations. Attacks intensified, using drones and aerial bombardments, leaving destruction in their wake, and the city became a haunting reminder of war's brutality. Amidst this chaos, Ukraine's defense response was critical. They could not allow Russia's air power to go unchallenged. The downed Su-34 was as swift as it was lethal. But how did Ukraine manage to hit such a fast-moving target? Experts suggest that Russia's predictable flight patterns might have contributed to their downfall. It's possible that the Russian pilots, after multiple successful missions, grew complacent, making them vulnerable to an ambush. Ukraine simply needed to track the jet's movements and lie in wait for its return. Speculations point to possible weaponry used in this ambush. A Ukrainian expert indicated that various options existed, including advanced missile systems linked to radar surveillance from Swedish aircraft now in Ukraine. Such technology could provide critical intelligence, allowing for a well-coordinated strike. This raises significant questions. Did Ukraine utilize a complex aerial coordination involving F-16s and Swedish radar systems to achieve this success, or a simpler method that remains undisclosed? Regardless of the approach, one fact stands clear. On September 25, Ukraine dealt a massive blow to Russian air capabilities, raising the tally of downed aircraft to a staggering 427 since the conflict began. While the precise method of destruction may intrigue military analysts, the key takeaway lies in the defeat dealt to Russia. As the conflict rages on, Ukraine remains resolute in defending its territory, continually adapting to counteract the threats posed by its adversary. The heart of the struggle lies not only in conquering land but in mastering the skies above. The battle for Zaporizhzhia continues, and each engagement could tip the scales in this ongoing war. What strategies will unfold next in this high-stakes game of aerial warfare? The world waits with bated breath. In a tense skirmish highlighting the ongoing conflict, Ukraine's resilience shines through once again. Since the beginning of the invasion, they have faced relentless attacks, especially in strategic locations like Zaporizhzhia. This region, home to one of Ukraine's critical nuclear power plants, had become a battleground where courage and skill would dictate the outcome. In late September 2025, the situation escalated. Russia, perhaps emboldened by earlier successes, deployed sophisticated Su-34 fighter jets to the region. These jets had been notorious for delivering devastating strikes with guided bombs, further intensifying the humanitarian crisis in Ukraine. But as the sun rose on September 25, destiny would unfold in a way that no one anticipated. At approximately 4:14 a.m., the air was thick with tension. Reports emerged of a Russian jet that had encountered difficulties. This wasn't just any jet, it was a Su-34, one of Russia's most formidable aircraft. This pivotal moment would mark a turning point. Despite its advanced capabilities, the jet soon faced an unexpected downfall, trailing smoke as it vanished from sight. Critics might question how Ukraine could possibly stand up to such advanced machinery. The answer lies not only in strategic planning but also in remarkably audacious tactics rooted in intuition and foresight. According to a report from Militarny, there was an ongoing threat, but Ukraine had already begun preparing for this exact encounter. They tracked the aerial maneuvers of the Su-34 meticulously, anticipating its every move. By 4:03 a.m., Nyla Vishnya, a reliable monitoring channel dedicated to the Zaporizhzhia region, indicated the immediate threat posed by Russian aircraft. Anticipation brewed among Ukrainian forces as they awaited the strike. Just moments later, at 4:07 a.m., the channel revealed that multiple jets approached, with one determined to unleash its deadly payload on the towns of Tokmak and Molokhansk. The Su-34 successfully released high-explosive KAB bombs, devastating the landscape below. But little did they know, the very tactic they relied upon would soon be their undoing. As the jet high above became increasingly vulnerable, Ukraine's intelligence units awaited the opportune moment. The clock was ticking, and the odds were shifting. At that critical moment, the Ukrainian counterstrike felt almost preordained. With precision and a bit of luck leaning in their favor, Ukraine's Air Force unleashed a staggering blow that would attract disbelief and awe in equal measure. The sound of explosion echoed through the air as the mighty Su-34 plummeted from the sky, dramatically altering the momentum of the conflict. So how did this audacious takedown unfold? Could it be that Russia's over-reliance on calculated assaults left them blind to an impending ambush? As details continue to murmur through the ranks, one thing remains clear: Ukraine's Air Force had once again turned the tide, catching their opponents off guard and shattering the image of invincibility surrounding the Su-34. Was it merely a hefty dose of luck or the product of meticulous strategy that enabled Ukraine to assert its dominance once more? The answer may lie in the depths of military strategy, where unpredictability reigns supreme. As we delve deeper, the nuances of this aerial battle unfurl, revealing layers of strategic brilliance and unexpected complexities. How will this event shape the broader landscape of the ongoing conflict? What implications will it have for future engagements? The answers to these questions are not just of military importance, they resonate with the lives and hopes of countless individuals caught in this tumultuous saga. As the tensions escalated in Ukraine during the invasion, the spotlight fell on the strategic region of Zaporizhzhia. This area, crucially home to an essential nuclear power plant, has remained resilient despite relentless attacks. The stakes grew ever higher, with both sides aware of what this meant: a battleground filled with soldiers and munitions. In a bold display of power, Russia deployed one of its Su-34 fighter jets on a bombing mission over Zaporizhzhia. But the result of this daring act was nothing short of shocking. In the early hours of September 25, 2025, the Su-34 executed its mission, unleashing a barrage of guided bombs over the city. However, Ukraine was ready for the threat. Within minutes, the jet was reported missing, having veered off its flight path and disappeared ominously above Vasilivka. This moment marked the beginning of a gripping story that would leave many questioning the fate of one of Russia's most advanced military assets. As the clock struck 7 a.m., definitive confirmation came from Ukrainian sources about the destruction of the rogue Su-34. Meanwhile, Russian communications became a chaos of disbelief. Military bloggers, known for their unwavering loyalty to the Kremlin, initially denied any mishap, until Ilya Tumanov on the fighter-bomber Telegram channel reluctantly confirmed that not only had the aircraft been shot down, but its pilot could not escape. The loss of such an aircraft heightened the intrigue around how Ukraine managed this ambitious ambush. Was this just a lucky shot or a strategic execution of a well-thought-out plan? Evidence hinted at the latter. Reports laid bare a meticulous countdown leading up to the dawn assault. The Su-34's routine made it discernible. Could Ukraine have played the waiting game, tracking the jet's movements until the opportune moment to strike? With rumors swirling, theorists began speculating on the weapons used in the ambush. Could it have been a sophisticated Patriot missile, or perhaps F-16s launching precision strikes? The arrival of Swedish radar planes hinted at a larger narrative in the skies. But the looming question was whether Ukraine would establish this deadly coordination for future encounters or if this was a one-off success amidst an unpredictable war. The impact of this strike, though notable, could not instantly turn the tide against Russia. Yet, the temporary removal of an aggressive jet from the skies had a profound psychological effect. For the beleaguered citizens of Zaporizhzhia, it offered a fleeting sense of safety. As every breath they took remained tinged with the memories of bombardment, this moment sparked small embers of hope for what lay ahead. How would Russia retaliate? What new strategies would Ukraine employ to maintain this elusive advantage in their aerial battles? Each ambiguous answer only stoked the flames of anticipation for the next chapter in this relentless conflict. As the conflict in Ukraine rages on, Zaporizhzhia stands as a critical battleground. This city, home to a vital nuclear power plant, has faced relentless aggression since the invasion began. Russian forces continue to funnel resources into the region, deploying soldiers and explosive devices daily. However, September marked a turning point when Russia boldly sent a Su-34 fighter jet to bomb the area. Despite its formidable appearance, the jet met its demise shortly after, leaving many wondering how Ukraine executed such a feat in a daring counteraction. Ukrainian forces managed to obliterate the Su-34 just after it completed a bombing run. This incident, reported by major outlets, left unanswered questions about the method behind Ukraine's success. On September 25, amid a backdrop of destruction, the Ukrainian Air Force confirmed the jet's downfall, indicating it was shot down during its assault on Zaporizhzhia. Yet, details remained elusive, possibly hinting at strategies to tackle more Russian aircraft in the future. Why was this crucial? The Su-34, known for its speed, reaching up to 1,180 miles per hour, could unleash chaos if left unchecked. With each bombing run, it threatened the city, turning residential areas into war zones. After consistent aerial attacks led to civilian casualties, Ukraine had to act swiftly. Was this a mere coincidence or a planned risk? The Ukrainian military strategized on how they could ambush the fast-moving fighter. Insights from experts reveal a compelling theory: Russian pilots had become predictable, flying the same paths without anticipating Ukrainian countermeasures. This complacency set the perfect stage for an ambush. By tracking the Su-34's movements, Ukrainian forces waited patiently for the right moment, ready to respond as the jet made its familiar approach. The method of attack remained shrouded in mystery. Some speculate that F-16s equipped with advanced coordination systems or ground-based defense systems like the Patriot could have played a role. But could the quick deployment of Ukrainian assets have caught the Russian pilot by surprise? In a game of cat and mouse, the stakes are high. Was this strike a one-off success, or just the beginning of a series of tactical triumphs for Ukraine? This success bought Zaporizhzhia some valuable breathing room, but questions lingered about whether more Russian jets were lurking in the shadows, preparing to continue the aerial bombardment. With the conflict escalating, how many more will fall from the sky? And what were those additional aircraft, perhaps other fighters or bombers, capable of unleashing devastation? While the exact numbers remain uncertain, reports indicate that before this recent loss, Russia had already seen 39 Su-34s fall, highlighting the gravity of the situation. Despite rumors of new Su-34 deliveries, the struggle to replenish lost aircraft due to sanctions persists. Such challenges intensify the urgency for Ukraine to neutralize any remaining threats. With every downed jet, they inch closer toward a safer tomorrow for Zaporizhzhia, but the looming risk of a potent counterstrike from Russia is ever present. The question remains, will Ukraine's strategies keep succeeding? Or is an escalation on the horizon? As the clock ticks, every moment matters in this harrowing conflict. In September 2025, the situation in Zaporizhzhia became increasingly tense. The region, housing a vital nuclear power plant, was under siege from Russian forces, relentlessly deploying soldiers and heavy artillery. Amidst this chaos, a daring Russian Su-34 fighter jet ventured into the skies above Zaporizhzhia, executing bombing runs that posed a major threat. However, Ukrainian forces were not ready to back down. On September 25, the Ukrainian Air Force launched a countermeasure against this audacious aerial menace. Utilizing advanced techniques and intelligence, they managed to shoot down the Su-34, sending shockwaves throughout the region. The method of the takedown remained shrouded in mystery, but speculation runs rife. Could it be that Ukraine took advantage of the jet's predictable flight pattern? Or was this operation executed with sophisticated weaponry and strategic precision? The Ukrainian Air Force reported, at approximately 4 o'clock on September 25, a Russian Su-34 aircraft was shot down while attacking the city of Zaporizhzhia. This event marked a significant moment, relieving some pressure from a city that had become a target since the outset of the invasion. However, questions lingered: how did they accomplish such a feat so efficiently? The Institute for the Study of War, ISW, indicated that Russia was ramping up its offensive in Zaporizhzhia, desperate for aerial dominance as it sought to secure its rear positions. Yet those plans began to unravel as Ukraine tightened its grip on the airspace. With every fighter jet taken out, the balance of power continued to shift. As Russia attempted to recover from the loss of another Su-34, now totaling 40 since the inception of the conflict, concerns over its ability to replenish these assets became apparent. Strict Western sanctions hindered Russia's manufacturing capabilities, weakening its military prowess. The wreckage of the downed jet unveiled critical information. The Su-34 relied on over 221 components sourced from various countries, now hard to obtain. Yet, one downed aircraft wouldn't decide the war's fate. While the Su-34's loss brought temporary relief to Zaporizhzhia, it highlighted Ukraine's efficacy and determination. Could this victory be the push needed to deter future Russian incursions? Only time would tell how this event would impact the larger conflict. Interestingly, while modern warfare defined the encounter with the Su-34, Ukraine had recently showcased a marvel of its own, a World War I-era machine gun that took down a formidable cruise missile for just $11. What does this contrast reveal about the nature of warfare today? As advanced technology battles against resourceful ingenuity, the stakes continue to rise. The tension in Zaporizhzhia remains, but with each victory, Ukraine fortifies its resolve. The September 25 strike serves as a potent reminder that they are not defenseless against the onslaught. Will the lessons learned from this encounter lead to more significant strategies shaping the future of air conflict in Ukraine? What remains clear is that with dwindling resources and an emboldened Ukrainian defense, the sky above Zaporizhzhia is a battleground marked by surprises and shifting tides. As we move forward, will Ukraine reveal more of its tactical prowess against a faltering air force? Only time will tell.